Good morning, everyone. Hi, my name is Yumiko Eshima. I'm a minister assistant here at OCBC. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving week. Today, I want to talk about accepting myself just as I am. This is a journey I have been on for a long time. Okay. First, I want to show you something. Please take a look at the screen, and there are two shapes. One is a perfect circle, and the other is a circle with a gap. A piece is missing. When you look at this, where do your eyes go first? Do you look at the pink line, or do you look at the gap? Yeah? Okay. Thank you. Yes, most of us look at the gap first, the missing part, the flaw. And this is natural. We humans are designed to see what is wrong. Long ago, our ancestors had to find danger, like tigers and lions, to survive. This was our survival instinct, a way to protect ourselves. Today, we don't generally need to be on the lookout for tigers or lions, but our brains still work the same way. Instead of fearing tigers, we fear losing our reputation or looking bad. So we constantly look for our own gaps. Oh, I made a mistake. I am not smart enough. I am not rich enough. I am not pretty enough. Psychologists call this the negativity bias. Nowadays, seeing the successes and happiness of others on social media often fuels this negativity bias. I have a strong negativity bias. For a long time, a voice of my head criticized me, found every mistake and flaw, and the voice told me, "You are not good enough." So I was desperate to change this. So for the past 5 years, I have studied and practiced mindful self-compassion, or MSC. It is a program founded by psychologist Dr. Christine Neff and clinical psychologist Dr. Christopher Garmer. What is self-compassion? According to the Center of Mindful Self-Compassion website, self-compassion involves responding in the same supportive and understanding way you would with a good friend when you have a difficult time, fail, or notice something you don't like about yourself. So mindful self-compassion is the practice of being compassionate to yourself when you are in the midst of suffering. When I encountered this teaching, I knew this was something I really needed, because I had been very harsh on myself when I needed compassion the most. So I started attending a lot of MSC programs and have continued practicing for the past 5 years. And slowly, I began to feel a warmth in my heart, a felt sense of accepting myself, even when I see my flaws. Although self-compassion is based on psychological studies, the source of the teaching is found in Buddhism. I found this very intriguing because I have a Buddhist background. I was born and raised in a Shin Buddhist temple family in Japan. Dr. Neff says there are 3 elements that comprise self-compassion. 1 is mindfulness, 2nd, common humanity, and 3rd, self-kindness. And I think they connect perfectly to Buddhist teachings. First, mindfulness. The MSC website says mindfulness provides the awareness needed to be with ourselves as we are and to validate our pain so that we do not avoid or over-identify with it. In Buddhism, mindfulness is the 7th of the Eightfold Path to happiness. That is right mindfulness, being present in the here and now with no judgment. The 2nd component is common humanity. The MSC website says that common humanity is to recognize that suffering and personal inadequacy are part of the shared human experience. Through common humanity, we feel I am not alone. In Buddhism, this relates to the Buddhist wisdom of issai kaiku, that is, all impure phenomena are of the nature to suffer. It means we are prone to suffering because we all have blind passions. Therefore, suffering is indeed the shared human experience. The 3rd component is self-kindness. The MSC website says, self-kindness is to be warm and understanding towards ourselves when we suffer, fail, or feel inadequate. In Buddhism, this is compassion for ourselves, wishing to take away our suffering and give ourselves peace. Metta meditation, or loving-kindness meditation, is very well known as a Buddhist practice. I am so grateful for this teaching of MSC and great teachers. The combination of Buddhist teachings with modern psychology has been very powerful. However, I have to admit that I still struggle. Even after years of practice, I still cannot accept myself 100% perfectly. Before I realize it, the negativity bias comes back. I still criticize myself. I still beat myself up. Mind you, the purpose of MSC programs is not to accept ourselves 100% all the time or erase our suffering completely by accepting ourselves. The purpose of it is to nurture our kind and warm intention or attitude toward ourselves when we are suffering. However, I really needed to explore this question. Why is it so hard to accept myself just as I am? That is when I turned to Buddhist teachings. And through Jodo Shinshu, I found the answer. The problem is that I am trying to use self-power or my self-centered mind to accept myself and remove suffering completely. My mind creates a new trap. I think, I should accept myself perfectly. When I get angry or sad, I think, no, I should be calm. This self-centered desire to put everything under our control is what we call one of the blind passions, or bonno. In Jodo Shinshu, we admit we are bonbu. A bonbu is an ordinary foolish being possessed by blind passions. Even Shinran Shonin, the founder of Shin Buddhism, called himself foolish, stubble-headed one, or gutoku, because the more he practiced Buddhism to be enlightened for 20 years in Mount Hiei, the clearer it became that he could not get rid of blind passions. So how could I be any different? Because I am a bonbu myself, I cannot control my mind 24 hours a day. Trying to accept myself perfectly by my own power is impossible. To explain this better, I want to tell you a famous story from an old sutra. It is a story of a monk named Chuda Pantaka. Chuda Pantaka was one of the Shakyamuni Buddha's disciples, but he was not smart. He was very forgetful. He couldn't even remember his own name. Shakyamuni Buddha wrote his name on the wooden tag and hung it around his neck. But Chuda Pantaka even forgot he was wearing the tag. He was known as the most foolish disciple. Chuda Pantaka had a smart older brother. His brother said with pity, "Chuda Pantaka, you cannot be a monk. You should go home." Chuda Pantaka was heartbroken. He stood outside and cried. He felt worthless. Shakyamuni Buddha saw him crying, and he didn't tell him to study harder. Instead, the Buddha gave him a broom and said, "You don't need difficult words. Just do this. Sweep the ground and say, 'Sweep the dust, remove the dirt.'" Chuda Pantaka followed the instruction. Every day, he swept, saying, "Sweep the dust, remove the dirt. Sweep the dust, remove the dirt." 1 year passed, 10 years passed, 20 years passed. He just kept sweeping. But he noticed something. No matter how much he swept, the dust always comes back. The wind blew and the leaves fell again. The ground was never perfectly clean. One day, a light turned on in his mind, and he realized the dust is not just on the ground. The real dust is in my mind. My attachment, my ego, My sadness, that is the dust. And he realized, I'm the being who is always create the dust. It never ends. Here, the dust and dirt are our bonno, or blind passions, the causes of our suffering. Buddhism teaches that blind passions are composed of 3 poisons that live in our minds. The first is greed. Wanting more, wanting to be better than others. Anger, being upset when things don't go our way. Stupidity, not seeing the truth of our reality. So together we call that gas. These are the dust and dirt that we cannot completely sweep away from our minds. For most of us, we are not conscious that these blind passions affect our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors every moment of our lives. That is why the word blind is used for bonno in Shin Buddhism. Because of these poisons, we always think, I should be smarter. I should be kinder. I should not get angry. I should accept myself just as I am. And we criticize ourselves when we are otherwise. In my work as a life coach, I listen to many people's struggles. My clients tell me about their blind passions and their pain and suffering caused by them. They say, I'm not good enough, and blame themselves for not being good enough. But when I look at them, I see not only their suffering, but also their bravery. I believe that suffering is proof that we are trying hard to live our life. Because you want to live a better life or improve yourself, you struggle. I am very humbled to witness someone trying hard to move forward despite the pain and struggle. And I find their process precious and beautiful. By the way, do you like lotus flowers? I really like them. They're very beautiful. In Buddhism, the lotus is a symbol of purity. But do you know where the lotus grows? Okay. It only blooms in the mud. It does not grow in clean water. It needs thick, dirty mud to grow. An old sutra called the Vimalakirti Sutra, sorry, I can't say it very well, also teaches us the lotus blooms from the mud. There, the mud represents our blind passions, or bonno, our greed, our anger, our stupidity. Without this mud, the beautiful flower of humanity cannot bloom. Because you have struggled in the mud, you can bloom into a unique, beautiful flower. But here is the important question. Does the flower bloom only because of its own power? In Buddhism, the answer is no. To explain this better, let me share a beautiful poem by the Japanese poet Misuzu Kaneko. She lived a rather short life, but left 500 beautiful children's poems. The poem I'm going to share with you today is called Lotus and Chicken. Hasu to niwatori in Japanese. Because it's a short poem, so I will read this in Japanese first for you to enjoy the original sound of it, and then I will read it in English. ハスと鳥。泥の中からハスが咲く。それをするのはハスじゃない。卵の中から鳥が出る。それをするのは鳥じゃない。それに私は気がついた。それも私のせいじゃない。Lotus and chicken. A lotus blooms from the mud. It's not the lotus who does that. A chicken comes out of the egg. It's not the chicken who does that. I noticed those things. It's not me who made myself realize that either. This beautiful poem reminds me of the core Buddhist teaching, causes and conditions, or interdependence. There are so many causes and conditions that lead the lotus to bloom, the egg to hatch, and me to realize that. This teaches us that we take so many things for granted and think that we are the ones who make things happen. The truth is, nothing happens by its own power. In Shoshinge, there is a phrase that compares a person who says the Nembutsu to a pure white lotus flower. All foolish beings, whether good or evil, when they hear and entrust to Amida's universal vow, are praised by the Buddha as people of vast and excellent understanding. Such a person is called a pure white lotus. Please imagine, we are full of blind passion, like the muddy water where we struggle. But when we realize that nothing happens by its own power, and see the wonder of causes and conditions, that we are here today, putting our hands together, saying Namo Amida Butsu, a pure white flower blooms from that mud. We are Bombu, trying our best in the mud. Amida Buddha is already watching over us warmly, promising, I will grasp you and never abandon you. Come as you are with the mud. This is Tariki, or the other power of Amida Buddha. When we realize we are already embraced by this immeasurable compassion of Amida Buddha, we feel deeply grateful, and the Nembutsu comes out naturally. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo is me, suffering in the mud. Amida is the embracing Buddha. Together, we are blooming the beautiful lotus flower. This is the feeling of pure gratitude and great peace of being accepted just as I am. Before I finish, I want to leave you with some questions. Imagine this. What if everything in your life, your mistakes, your failures, your flaws, your suffering, and even your efforts, your achievements, your growth, and your realizations, what if all of these were not things you did or are responsible for, but things that happened to you because of countless causes and conditions? And what if all of it is already acknowledged, already accepted, and already held within Amida's great compassion, without any judgment whatsoever? If you knew deep in your heart that you are fully embraced exactly as you are right now, how would you feel? I hope you can carry these questions with you. Thank you very much for listening. Please join me, Gasho. Namamida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda.